Today I have a very bad news for you. AI may kill your app, even if you're not using it. And that's one of the stories from our recent consulting gig in which, well, we were trying to find out why the application was collapsing every couple of hours. And it turns out that AI was one of the agent, or I would rather say one of the actors that caused this fatality. And let's discuss that. Hi, Tomek.
Hi, Łukasz. Yeah, you started like AI is stealing our jobs, right?
Yes, kind of.
But it's
kind of.
opposite this time, right?
It's definitely opposite because it gives us a little bit of a job. But the backstory is quite interesting because we've seen different apps. We have seen like very early adopters of LLMs. We have seen only from the blog post, luckily, but companies that sold cars for $1. Not for me to judge, but also one of the recent findings is that, well, even though you're not using the AI, you still may be a victim of unpleasant crawlings.
Yeah, because you have to like remember that LLMs they are one thing, right? But another thing is that the whole infrastructure that supports them, that can give them the content to train them, to update them, and they are like web scraping all the time, right? So you have to like remember also about the whole infrastructure that stands behind the LLMs themselves. And that was the case, as Łukasz mentioned, in one of our customers' project, right?
Yeah, because think about this, right? The LLM has to get the data from somewhere, right? And in our case, that was the product catalog, which also turned out to be a little bit slow. And as I mentioned, there is this one ungentle AI agent, which makes a lot of requests to actually achieve what it wants. Other AI agents, they are not so brutal about the frequency in which they ask the application about the data, right? So if you connect this requests that are very frequent with slow endpoints, you may get into a trouble. That was not the only root cause, but one that was very important, because what we did, we disabled this bot by robots text and told him to gently back off.
Fortunately, in this case, it respected, right? Our change as well.
Yeah, because in the internet you can read that there are different behaviors and different levels of respecting the robot's text. At least in this case, it worked. And it turned out that, and that was a little bit surprising, that 98% of the web traffic was caused by this one bot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think recently I also seen the Twitter saying similar thing here, because that it's not the issue that like bots are like visiting our pages, right? That's actually important from the business perspective, because like if we have like products and their pages and so on, we from time to time would be happy if some bots are actually scrapping our data and index them in the search engines, right? That's great. But the issue here is how how many times it requests you, and what's the huge traffic load that it can produce, right?
Yes,
sometimes.
So the temporary solution is definitely in that case. If you notice that we use New Relic to discover that, by the way, is to cut it off. That's one of the things you can do. But I believe that it shouldn't be only developers' decisions. We should talk to business and try to understand whether we want to be indexed by the LLMs, right? Because I heard stories that from friends of mine that people actually start using the chatbots to actually find some products. That's the new reality that we are getting into. but we have to be prepared that our application may be killed by such an agent, and now we need to decide whether it's worth it or not to be in that indexed by that LLM. And in order to do that, of course, we need to talk to business. We need to ask them the right questions, right? We need to know who our customer is and how they use and if they use LLMs for to get this information. Because if you think about B2C, it may be kind of frequent, or that people may shift into this approach. But if you think about B2B, it may not be always the case, because you may be just one of the vendors, right? Which then someone from the customer side, from the other business side, they're browsing the products and making like large orders. But let's not get into that. That's one of the things you should do if you find out yourself in this situation, right? But there is more to think about.
Yeah, because like that's actually not the root. I mean, if you are not paying much for the traffic and so on, you should be like you shouldn't care how many times you are like your page is like scrapped, right? Because the real root cause here was also like the issue with the performance, right? In some case.
Exactly. So I think what you should think about whenever you're developing your application is how fast your public pages respond. And for example, if you are an e-commerce and you own a product catalog, probably in this new era, you should try to prepare yourself that your data may be scrapped, and perhaps you need to be able to respond fast to this scrapping. So
let's say in practice, it means usually to prepare kind of like the pages that are like exposed to load very fast, right? And they should use kind of we can say that here, right? Read models to have like instant response from the server about some kind of products, for example, right?
Yes, or close to instant. So performance is becoming more and more important right now, especially as we think for the public pages. And we emphasize in this channel that your read traffic, so people like browsing your pages, is most of the traffic that your regular business web application will get. So it's becoming even more and more important to take care of that, as you can see from this story. And that's it for today. However, I would like to invite you to the webinar that I'm running on 30th of October at 7 p.m. Central Europe time. But if you click the link in the description, the one that will be visible somewhere here, you will see the time in your own time zone. And if you sign up for the webinar, you will get a possibility to add it to your calendar. And we will discuss more stories like that. We'll discuss business questions that you as a Rails developer can ask your business, and how you can find solutions to the problems and to the new problems, and how to try to understand them to deal with in this new reality. And as we can see, we don't know, the complexity of the web apps is increasing from different angles, not only from implementation, as you can see, but also from just being a possible victim to attacks that were not even intended, however, yet brutal. So I hope to see you there, and see you. Thanks for watching.
See you. Bye.